Hello Aries, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm right here for a new round of readings for each zodiac sign, starting with you of course Aries, so we'll see what comes up during this reading. Sometimes I get a tune of it when I start with your reading. I get some kind of like perhaps a theme that goes through all of the readings. In the last round of reading, I believe the last two rounds of readings has been a lot about autonomy. I've talked about knowing what you are at your core, not necessarily who you are, but what you are at your core. And when you know what you are, you also know what you fight for or what you hold dear, what you want to preserve and what you would like literally fight for. What matters, things like that. Well, today, first of all, I took out my Gaia Oracle cards here, and I haven't used them for quite a while. I felt I should do that. Again, as I just said, I haven't used them for quite a while, and I had this feeling of like maybe a memory or something, like it's been a while, like it's been a while since I have seen this person. It's been a while since I have thought about this or recognized this, or like remembering something. Again, I feel like it relates to the core feeling, like maybe there are certain needs that you recognize in yourself that you have totally neglected, like it's been a while since I've actually connected with this. Like going through, like a photo album, and then it's like you see things you were doing, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember there's something about this. It's been a while since I've done this or spoke to this person, or maybe recognized this about myself. Well, depending on your journey, depending on how open you are to change and yourself, perhaps this revisitation could be even uncomfortable, like it could be a side of you that you have like totally forgotten about, neglected, but like recognizing it about yourself perhaps could now lead to new understandings or maybe new choices, maybe new ways of thinking. And well, they can be more or less challenging. Maybe it's a relief, like maybe it's, oh my God, yeah, why have I never just accepted this about myself? It's such a relief just to do this, right? But there's a world outside, and maybe the world doesn't like that, right? Maybe the world is not ready or something like that. I've had a few readings for you, I feel like, Aries, where it was a bit like this feeling of like being bigger than the frame can hold. So maybe, you know, it could be you have a vision about something. Maybe it's bigger than what the current is able to provide. Let's say if you have been looking for unconditional love in your life, a partner who unconditionally loves you, maybe you have only found conditional love because that's what the frame is able to hold. So that this is how it works in the world. It is conditional. So, you know, you could have expectations that are, or dreams or something that are, or it seems like they may be out of proportion or bigger than. Let's say you have an ambition that you say, I want world peace. Well, that's great, but we still see war in the world, right? That it's a great wish, but it seems like there must be people here or energies here that do not want peace, that establishes the exact opposite. That we have polarities here. And, you know, like having only one kind present and never the other is, well, it's more than, that is a wish that is more than what the current can hold. Do you get my point? Like, if we live in a yin and yang society, and that is kind of the box, you know, that is the box. So when you play inside the box, when you're in this play field, where yin and yang is polarities and up and down and so on, when you are playing in here, there are certain things that are maybe impossible here, because there's always this flip side to something. So you must think outside of that box. You must be outside it then. But being outside it or choosing to not accept certain things makes you perhaps an outsider. So, do you get my point? Like, this revisitation can be problematic maybe, because it's going to challenge other things perhaps. Let's have a look at it. Night wind. It says facing fear, subconscious release, and healing. So night wind, of course, this, well, it could be, you know, something that happens at night. At dreams you have, where something is going on. Maybe you remember your dreams, right? Maybe you have a feeling that something is coming into your life that feels like a night wind. Maybe a chill, you know, a chill wind. Facing fear, subconscious release, and healing. So, and look at how it matches the color of the tablecloth here. It's very blue, a bit purple, and then the tree here. The true tree. The tree here. Well, again, like it feels like a beautiful trunk here. I almost see it like it's dancing, right? Because it has this vibe to it, like, like swinging back and forth like that. Like a dancing tree at night here. And then it has this big crown here that can take in information and absorb light and everything. Yeah, I feel like wind is air, so we have air here. Again, it could be like like a chill, a bit of a cold chill, or maybe a bit shadowy, because the nighttime, this is sometimes where things are not seen at the night time. Like it can be a bit shadowy. Something we don't want anyone to know. Maybe something you're going through, right? A night wind could also talk about like a dark night of the soul, right? You have a night where you are considering something here that is a bit maybe taboo, or and I feel like it says here releasing fear, or facing fears and releasing subconscious release and healing. I said that it could be a relief, a relief to, like almost admitting to yourself. It could be someone else, of course, that you are at saying something out loud. I just feel like when it's a night wind, it could be something you keep a bit to yourself. It's like an inner process you may go through that is you keep to yourself somehow, but where you may admit something to yourself, right? Again, something you could become you could remember something here, or become aware about something here, but it has a nature of maybe a secret, or you're not sure that you should say this to anyone. Like I get feeling of it could be a relief, actually. Like to admit this to yourself could be I feel like relief. And that's the subconscious release. I feel like it's like something that comes, from the subconscious that you become aware of. And because it's now in your awareness, you are now conscious of this, it actually provides a lot of healing, but it also, that there's some fears here with it. Or maybe problems, like it could create a sense of problem. And again, I have this like, it's almost like the tree here grows bigger at night and, becomes this. Well, it is inside the frame, but it's almost like it wants to expand beyond the frame of the card here. And then there's this sense of like dancing, like or movement, like it's moving somehow, a tree that moves, right? Yeah, like dancing, swinging, something. Maybe you feel like at night or in the evening, like you feel like you want to dance or move your body, like follow some kind of rhythm. Um, Now I almost get like I get what is that? Um, it's like, you know, when like these stories about some Indian guy having snakes in a basket, and when he plays the flute, the snake starts to dance, right? There could be a sense of like Kundalini perhaps here. Like Kundalini is said to be an energy that we all hold, that can awaken, like an awakening energy that comes from the base of our spine at the root chakra. It's described as a coiled snake. But then it starts, you know, like this can happen, I believe, for people who experience a sense of a spiritual awakening, like a that it's like the snake starts to rise up along the spine towards the crown chakra, like the energy starts to mold and shift you somehow. And I get that feeling, and this could happen at nighttime or when you want to sleep. Perhaps you have difficulty sleeping. Like, you know, you feel like you have to move around in the bed. Like you can't seem to find rest, perhaps, here. And wondering what that is. Like, what is happening. It feels to me, it is Gaia cards here, right? But it also feels very feminine to me. And feminine energy, well, I can only describe it as it's not very familiar to us. Like it's intuitive and it's emotional, and it's just something about follow a hunch or something. Like you don't get a plan, you don't get an explanation or an end goal or something. It's a hunch to do something, to just follow a rhythm or something, to just go along with something. But you know, it may not seem like it have a purpose. It may not seem as if it has a logical purpose. Like that would be masculine thinking, right? It doesn't seem like it has a logical purpose. You are a fire sign, and Kundalini is life force energy. It is fire. You could say it is fire. That could be a feeling of like again, I sit and I have like this movement, like this movement feeling, right? That there's something is waving, like waves of something, waves of something in your body, perhaps, and not understanding what that is. Um, And it may feel like awkward, like we may wanna, like if you could swallow a pill and make it go away so you could sleep, that would be preferable. But it's like, I don't think it works like that, right? The logical way for masculine energy to deal with something like that is to numb it, like to shut it down. But I think this is not something you can just... And again, there's this feeling, it's been a while. It's been a while since I have felt this movement. Of course, well, I don't know, it could be sexual energy, perhaps, But I feel like there's a specific maybe it's something that comes along if you speak to someone particular, or if you are around. As I said, you could meet someone whom you haven't seen for a very long time. Again, this feeling I had in the beginning, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've felt like this. It's been a while. It's been maybe a long time since I've felt like this. Like so, and it could come with a sense of feeling like some waves of I feel like waves of recognition. You recognize some of this, but again, it could be something that has been, like dimmed down, because normally we don't have time for this, right? We have a busy schedule, we have work to do, we have family, we have stuff to do. It could come across almost as inconvenient, right? But I do feel like there is a sense of like admitting something to yourself, that this is maybe important, and it's been a while. It's important and it's been a while. Maybe a long time. Of course, there could be waves of, again, recognition, like waves of recognition that also comes with healing, as it says. Like I feel like there's almost like a recognition, and then kind of admitting to this, agreeing with it, that yeah, this is true, I haven't done this, or given myself time to do this, but I do need it, right? I admit that, or I recognize that this is necessary for me. I may need this dance, I may need these waves. Maybe it's, it has to do with water by the sea, or if you stand alongside many trees and it's stormy weather, that the trees, they wave back and forth, and you can hear this whistle of the leaves, right? And there could be this feel, and again, now I still get the snake, the hissing of the snake, this a bit like when you have these trees that wave. It's very feminine, this, right? It's very so I don't have a real plan to explain this, right? Just you have to go along with this. It's a feminine expression, and that may also be this, thing that is, I feel like for an Aries, for a fire sign, a quick fire sign like Aries, this is something that is maybe slower. It has this waving to it. It can be with night winds, and there's maybe this sense of hissing, something like that. Maybe you have that in your ears. Can I have another card of the night wind here? Because I feel it's wind. So it's air energy. It's something about your thoughts, your mind, your brain. I get King of Pentacles here. Yeah, King of Pentacles with this card. It tells me something like well, the King of Pentacles can be a business owner. He could be someone who is usually quite equipped with the material realm. Like he is a good worker, a hard worker. It could be, we have earth energy here. A good worker, he is successful. A King of Pentacles is usually like the catch. He is rich, or he has at least a decent amount of money. He has a nice house, car, pension in the bank, money. He's well off, this guy. And usually also quite reliable, stable, committed. He could be a loyal husband here, and devoted to his family, taking care of family, being a provider, that kind of life. But then, with this card, it tells me something like you could be actually, like maybe you do have a job, maybe you are, in a position where you look like this. But that there is something here hissing at you. There's something that is moving in you, where I feel like you may perhaps admit to yourself that this guy is not you. The expectation towards someone like this is not you, right? That you will not thrive being this one. Even though it looks good on paper, and maybe the women like it, and, things like that. You could look attractive out there. But there's something here where I feel like it's not you. It could be someone on your mind here. Like someone you have, I don't know, maybe maybe you have a bit of a hate-love relationship to this guy here. You know that it's I get that feeling like a bit of a, like he could be a father, this guy, right? Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy here. He could be a father. It could be something you are admitting here to yourself about. Either, it could be something, that it's because we do that actually. Traits you have inherited from a parent, perhaps. Like when you see yourself act like this, it reminds you of your father. And maybe you have a bit of a bittersweet taste in your mouth about this guy. It could be that you are actually realizing that the older you get, the more you look like him. The more you see yourself taking action like him. You may even be in the same job category, or you have made some of the same decisions. But there is this like a sense of like a movement that it's asking something of you. Like something here that I get a bit of a bittersweet feeling about this. There's always two sides to a coin. As I said in the beginning with the yin and yang, there's this, if I'm in the box with this guy, if this is, let's say, a partner here. So if I'm in the box with this guy, that he's in here in the box with me, it's like a yin and yang, or it's like I don't only see what I prefer from him, this guy. I also see something else. Like there is this sense of like a, so whatever you are realizing here, it could be something about tolerance. Like, can I tolerate like the full spectrum of this guy? I mentioned in the beginning something about unconditional love. Is it possible for me to love this guy unconditionally, or are there sides to him? Sometimes a person like this, if they are very reliable and stable, and they can, for a fire sign like you, Aries, they could come across over a long period of time being with them, they could come across as boring, perhaps. There's no adventure in them. Like they stick to the same schedule every single day, So there could be, even though they are beautiful and they're stable and they're loyal and they're trustworthy and they always show up for work, they always show up in the family, they are good providers and stable and everything. But for a fire sign, I guess that there could be something like, you can just feel that there's a need for movement, right? There's a need to dance, right? There's a need to swing. And he could sit here. Like, he could be someone who he likes to come home and put his slippers on and sit in front of the television and relax. But maybe you would like to go dancing, right? Maybe you would like to connect again. Maybe you would like, to be seductive and, something like that. And he could just be like, maybe he has work to do, right? Maybe or he just sits here, like he has no interest in dancing or sometimes something else can happen here with when you feel this, and I get this feeling of like a bit like could be Kundalini movement that could be starting within you, right? Again, there could be some, again at night, the sense of movement, like you can't sleep. It's some restless nights. You are unaware what that is. You don't know what it means, right? And maybe you are this person, or you have this responsibility. So feeling like this can be it can be fearful in the sense that you can't rest. You lose your strength. You can't concentrate the next day, and so on. It's almost like, a tree here is on the move. A tree that normally have very strong roots. Like if we see this as the same, that this is the tree, it's earthy in the sense that a tree is an earth plant or an earth being. And he is earthy. Normally a tree stands in the same place. It doesn't move. It's grounded. It has deep roots. This guy would be the same. But what I feel like could be happening at night is like, it's almost like the tree dances, right? It wants to move. It needs something else. Something may have become too grounded here for you. Like it may have become too solid in some way. And as I said, it could be boring. Maybe you would like them to be, surprise you. Like maybe you would like, again, in the daytime he looks like this, right? In the daytime he looks like this. He is stable, he's reliable. And if this is you, I want to say it lacks perhaps a bit of fire for you, because you are a fire sign. Not to say that it's beautiful if you have been able to harness your fire and build something with it, get yourself a grounded, stable living perhaps. But at night time there could be this feeling of restlessness, or that's what I feel like. It's like the tree wants to move, right? A tree needs something. It needs something. It can't just lay there. It's like it needs to dance, it needs to move, it needs to, I don't know, maybe sex, I don't know. It needs to do something. Like it has become something is, I feel like it's very beautiful, this. Like there is so much good about this that you can say in the earthly realm. Like it ticks the boxes of being successful, recognized in the community, a successful business perhaps, seemingly strong, reliable, maybe a good family father, dependable, you can rely on him. He is stable, he has good income, he has money, he is he could, again, maybe he could be a bit fixed in the sense that he sits here, Like this is who he is, this is what he does. He's not something else. So you can have all the good sides of him. all these things, if you like that in your life, right? You will have that from him. And you may adore that. You may love it and like it, right? But then at the same time, like you can't get them go dancing at night, for instance, right? You can't get them, let's say you have a wild dream of like a very intense and emotional tango, right? You want a tango at night here with him. And it's just like he's not really into that, you know? But if you gave him accounting books for the company, he would look at it right away. But there's something here like it's and that's what I feel like. It's like realizing something from deep within you that comes up that you actually, it could be a longing, like you long for something. And admitting to yourself, I long for more, perhaps. I long for something more. That even though we have this life in the box together, and it works out, and it looks great on the surface, we have everything. And our children, it's great, you know, it's a good stable life. Our day works out. We have a great, beautiful garden. We have good hobbies. We have good friends. We have all these couple dinners and whatever. But this is a bit like something maybe a bit dangerous, you know, or something more that spices something up, something, as I said, like the tango, something intense, something that spices something up, or is like a role play, or, you know, something that can get us out of this maybe a bit of an ordinary, maybe boring, like almost boring life, because it's just so structured, maybe. Yeah, it's also feminine what I have here. Maybe it's too structured, like the life you may have here, in like what you are doing in your life or who you live with here. It's like it lacks something that is not so masculine and structured and ordered, and, you know, we get up at 7 o'clock every morning, and then bum 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 bum, and when we get home, we have these routines, and then we go to bed, right? You know, that there's something that may seem too structured somehow, or too boring almost. That there's something coming here, that it needs a spice, it needs glow, it needs yes, a feeling, right? I'm waving here to find it, what it is, but it's something that is spices something up, I feel like. And then there's this feeling of, yeah, it's been a while, but I recognize you, right? I recognize what this is. And yes, it's been a while. And I have to admit to myself that I need this in my life. I need this to balance perhaps something in my life. I need more to my life than what I may currently have, you know? This can become so structured and ordered that even though you have the money you may need, it lacks joy, it lacks spontaneity, it lacks play, or something like that, right? So that's what I feel like. It's very feminine, it's very it definitely wants to move you somewhere, or something like, let's go naked bathing at the beach. And he just looks at you like, no, really? That's something that you do when you are 17, right? No, I sit here and watch my ball game or something, Yeah, I feel like it's an invitation from the feminine part of you, or if you are a feminine Aries here, that you feel this something in you that it misses contact, right? It misses interaction. It misses a longing somehow. That's what I feel like. Yeah, and then I want to have this down here. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I get the Hierophant up here. And this guy, the Hierophant usually refers to Taurus energy, and this guy can be Taurus, right? Very stable. And you could be, if this is you also, quite confident, but also sometimes a bit fixed. It can become a very scheduled life, sticking to certain principles, and a plan. There is a plan to something. That must be a goal at the end of my day, something like that. The Hierophant here is, well, again, as I said, this is a major arcana, and he is a king here. I feel like these could be the same person. It could be the same life, you could say. This is in the crown position. The portal keeper is in the. It looks like this, in the root position here. So what I feel like is happening here is something like your crown, so your brain, and this is night winds. Your brain is telling you that you are a tree, right? It tells you about logic. It tells you about what is a good decision. It also tells, the Hierophant is usually, as opposed to the High Priestess, this guy is usually integrated in society. He's accepted. He can be a priest, this one. Can be a priest. It shows a woman, but this could easily be a man also, or easily a masculine voice also here. The Hierophant is usually someone established in society. You could have I want to say this is maybe not like business work. This is more, it could be spiritual. He could be a priest. He could be a counselor, maybe a therapist. He could be, it's something that works with, this could be a spiritual teacher, a mentor, a guru. It has, the Hierophant usually links to a higher spiritual realm of some kind of higher wisdom, knowledge, and that could also be it, that you feel something is moving here. Something where maybe your trunk wants to grow higher. It wants to aim for more knowledge from the higher realms. But the one you are married to, he could be very earthy man, right? Maybe you feel it's almost like your trunk is growing. You become higher and higher, like you want to raise higher up and have more and more information from, let's say, God, or a deity, from your spirit guides. You want to lean more and more into the idea that there is another side where there is a possibility to connect with something. That you may feel that there is a calling, that you have a calling here. That could also be what the movement is, that you feel like your trunk here, that you are the tree, right? But now it's like your tree is asked to dance or move here. It's asked to grow bigger. It's asked to like push its leaves upwards, to have more information, to open the antennas, to grasp more, right? Again, how she is holding something above her head here, like needing or wanting to catch more information, hear more, tune into more. And the Hierophant can usually use this, like they transform their knowledge into some kind of work. So this could be like a clairvoyant, a healer of some kind, you know, and it's asking perhaps something of the stable life that you may have been living, or the partner you're with here. As I said, it's like there is something that the night wind is. It's reminding you of something that you miss in your life. I feel like a spark of something that sparks your interest, something that is more. Something, yeah. It's the Hierophant grasps towards the sky for more. Right? That's what the priest does. It asks God to help. It asks in the spirit guides. It's inviting in an activity, a connection, something that is, yeah, it's very feminine in nature. Spirit, like any kind of religion, the contact is feminine. You use your senses, you open maybe your third eye, you have an ability to tune with your pineal gland, and other ways of opening something. But this feels like there's something on the move here that is kind of asking you to open here and maybe choose a different path in your life, right? Choose something that is spiritual also. And you know, it may be challenging how you normally see yourself. Because this is a rather successful guy, this guy here, right? He has his life together. But you know, this is asking you to dance with spirit, or it's like a call, like feeling a call but I get it, like in your body, it's like it's like your body calls you to interact. And there's a part of you that actually admits that this is, yeah, it's been a while. I remember you, right? I remember this. It's been a while. I haven't been in touch with you for a while here. So there could be an invitation, you know, in your mind space. You can hear the call here. It's like you can grasp the call that comes. In your root chakra, though, you have the portal keeper here. The portal keeper is usually something that stands here that is making sure that a portal could be kept safe, or we are not opening ourselves up to something unless we are ready, unless we are maybe knowledgeable enough of what we are doing. This can be the ego that protects you, that comes in and is saying, are you sure about this? Or, it just shows up like, what is happening? Like, what is this? Again, Kundalini actually could perhaps feel a little bit like how we see the energy is moving here, like it swirls and twists and it rises up from the root chakra to the sacral chakra, and then it moves around there for a while. Then it's asking us to cleanse the chakras. Then it moves to the solar plexus chakra, and those lower chakras, they can hold some of our trauma and our things that we have denied, things we don't want to go along with. This is where we choose the stable, good job instead of maybe pursuing an alternative career here, or join some kind of maybe religion or spirituality or something here. But that there is a sense of something is showing up here, like what is this? Like, what is this? What is happening? And that could be the fear, like you know that your body is suddenly reacting differently. Maybe you sleep bad, maybe you have ringing in the ears, or like a whisker or something, a hissing or something. Maybe you feel like tingling or something that just moves through your body or up and down your spine, right? And it can activate fear. Like this guy, he would come in and say, what's this? What's happening, right? Because this is our protector, the one that is, there for us to scan the environment and tell us if something is different in the body and so on. So of course he's here, he's right here, and he's saying, what is this, right? Asking us to figure out what to do about this. What is this? Why is this here? Or what is happening? I'm not sure I want this, right? I'm not sure I want this, he's saying. This is unfamiliar, or this is strange. I'm not sure I want this. I had this in the Pisces reading as well. You could have a look at that reading that I just finished. It's a bit of the same theme, I feel like. But now I read for Aries, and you are quite different than a sensitive water sign. So the portal keeper talks about unique gateways to mystical experiences, psychic abilities, raising your vibration and expanding consciousness. You can be opened up to Akashic records, past life ties, exploring the edges of reality for significant messages, seeing between the lines, and multidimensional awareness. So in the root chakra, something is definitely happening. As I said, it's like a coiled snake that resides at the bottom of your spine. That is what Kundalini is talking about. It's portrayed as this coiled snake that resides there until it's time. And then it can start moving up through the chakra, starting with the root chakra. So you could have a tinkling there. You could have a tinkling at the bottom of behind your your anus, you could say, around that area, you could have a tingling. You could even have a tingling in the genitalia area, the sacral chakra, something moving there, like it feels like it's tingling and moving in some way. And you may recognize it and kind of feel, what is that? What is this? Yeah, I get that kind. It feels like that. It feels like it's a time to move again, something to move again. That something is supposed to move again. Okay, so now I want to take out the drivers for this. So I get winter's end here as a driver for the night wind. Let's see, the Hierophant here, I have 4 of Earth. And for the Portal Keeper, I have Evolution. Yes, something is definitely happening here at the root chakra. The drivers are usually the state that happens before this. So something has happened maybe during the last month or so that is now activating this. The same here. This has been a thing in your life, and now this is happening, and this has been there, and now this is happening. So a driver like Evolution here, well, this looks very much like a mermaid. It can come across as quite watery, but there's a lot of blue and purple here, even a bit of pink. So we have the highest chakras that are moving. We have blue, purple, and pink here as well, a bit orange. So the higher chakras, crown chakra, third eye, throat chakra, and even heart chakra here as well. And these are the same colors, so this makes sense. So Evolution. Let's have a look at that one. But evolution is a growth. It's like an evolution, a growth, a transformation in some way. Something may happen, and it may come from your root position, so your root chakra. It starts there, and maybe it has been stirring for a while. Maybe you feel more, like maybe it's now moving, like it has, and I said it's these chakras that could be affected by a moving energy in you. Evolution, it says here in the book, growth, overcoming challenges, gracefully riding the waves of life, expanding out of a problem, flourishing in the face of change, and thriving in new environments, being unperturbed. Being unperturbed. So what does personal evolution mean to you? Is it about growth, expansion, adaptation, success, or becoming a better version of yourself? Perhaps it speaks to an ability to move through difficulties. However good we are at surfing the waves of life, we all face surging tides of challenging ups and downs at times. When we try to hide from our trials, they get even bigger or more overwhelming. So we can dive into them and surf them for growth and transformation. We might also flow with the current of least resistance, allowing the waves to wash over us and inspire a deeper sense of compassion and strength. How we meet our challenges contributes to our growth and evolution. Yeah, so there's definitely something that has been coming in here. And I get a feeling of your reaction to whatever is coming in here could be a bit of, what's this? A bit of fear here. What is this? What is happening? The portal keeper, again, there is an ability to work against it or with it. Like you can allow whatever comes in that shows up to just look at it, have a look at it, and let it pass through your body. Acknowledge what it wants to tell you, right? Acknowledge what it wants to tell you, and then you remember what it is. For the night wind here, I have a driver called Winter's End. And it says regeneration, rebirth, and positive outcome. It goes right hand in hand with the with the evolution card here that says that there may have been some times that have been challenging, and you can either again ride the waves, not oppose yourself to it, not fight against it. Or you may have been fighting, right? Maybe your ego here has been fighting. But I get a feeling that it seems like a rebirth has been going on here that has been, I want to say your tree is now moving. Like you are not a still standing tree in that sense. You are aware that sometimes even a tree wants to dance. Like it has to move with whatever vibration comes from the ground. It has to move with it. No matter how stable it is normally. No matter what storm you may have encountered here, you may have learned how to move with it, right? You may have been asked to, ride the storm off, something like that. Winter's End suggests that, well, winter time is, for humans, it's like winter, right? The leaves fall off. It's a bit grey. There is not much warmth. It's like we see it in nature, that Mother Earth or Gaia, she retrieves all her energy into the ground when winter comes to rebirth herself, you would say, to regenerate the energy. And then when springtime comes, it's like it comes again. And when springtime comes, it could also be the feeling that with that comes a bit more sun, a bit more warmth, a bit more, it's more fun to go outside. It could be almost like an accumulated energy that has been waiting for spring, right? That it has been waiting for something to pass, I feel like. For some storm to pass. And then it's like when that is done, then it's like you feel that I think this could also happen during the coronavirus, right? That people were asked to stay at home and stay in, and it's almost like you accumulated this energy that just wanted to go out and dine at restaurants, be social again, and something like that. But you couldn't. Like you had to wait for the winter's end. You had to wait for the signal that now it's okay. Now it's okay to go out there again. And then it's almost like it has accumulated and you have been feeling it, right? You have been feeling this, I need some kind of excitement. I need something more, right? Missing it, longing for it, and so on. And then it comes. Then the end comes here. And we can even see it like the tree starts to get leaves, green leaves again here. It could be that you have been really longing for winter to be over and you just want to get out, you want to get out and windsurf and bike and you want to feel life, you want to feel the wind in your face, you want to stand there and feel the rain, you want to feel alive in some way. You want to feel something more or connect with something more, like we do when the difference between sitting inside and looking out on nature is when you are in it. Like when you sit inside, you're kind of prohibited from feeling it, sensing it, smelling it. You're prohibited from, tuning in on it, hearing the little grasshopper, the birds. When you sit inside and you look through the window, you only get a semi touch of it. Like you only get it's a limited experience, right? A limited experience of what nature is. But when you are in it, it's like it speaks to you perhaps. It moves you perhaps. Maybe you want to move with the trees in the wind, right? Maybe you feel like you want to connect with something more and move with that in some way. But you can't do that when you sit at home watching ball games in front of the television with your slippers here. It's like you have to get out there and interact with it, whatever it is. Like maybe it's the tango, as I said. You want this close, intense connection with a partner, dancing in a specific way, But it's definitely something that is like this could be, let's say, I don't know, it's just she's raising up her hands here, trying to catch something or connect with something. Maybe it's tantra, like a tantra connection that also, it all asks us to sit and have eye contact, to become more in tune with your partner, to become one, you could say, almost like you have your third eye linked with each other or something like that. That there's a sense of wanting to connect with something. And then I have this feeling, it's like it's been a while. It's been a while since I've had this feeling. It's been a while since I've felt like this. It's been a while since well, we all know our body usually. We know how it responds. We know what it feels like to have sex, but this could be a totally different feeling. Like it's like a memory or reconnecting with some kind of something that inspires you, perhaps. You're inspired to take some kind of action here. I have the Four of Earth here, in this position. It goes quite well with the winter, and it goes also quite well with evolution. That Four of Earth is usually a card of worrying. I had this in the Pisces reading as well, a different card, but still Four of Pentacles. A worrying card, worrying about having enough, worrying about, again, winter time can be a time of maybe low finances, a time of feeling insecure, or again, maybe it's not about finances. As I said, he could be well off, this guy, but to feel abundance in your life is more than that sometimes, right? It's the abundance and the feeling of being alive and thriving is more. Like winter can suggest that you have been, I don't know, feeling lonely perhaps, or alone, or this can suggest even something like not feeling good enough, worrying that you have what it takes to do something. Do you have the credentials? So winter's end can suggest low confidence. It's time to get out of some state here, right? Some state, and it's changing something. It's like it pokes at something. It pokes at you, right? It pokes at you to transmute something, change something. Do I have what it takes to be someone who can be like this? Can I be, I don't know who she is, right? Can I be like, can I have a living if I become a healer here, or a clairvoyant, or a spiritual guide, or teacher, or helper, or something? Can I? The Hierophant is usually accepted inside society, inside the box, you could say. Again, the priest is, well, he's part of the institution. He does the ceremonies, right? He baptizes. He is in charge of marriage, funeral, and other rituals that may come with a sense of belonging to a certain community, a certain church perhaps here. And church usually, well, church has certain scriptures that are guides for people if they feel a bit lost in life. They can, listen to some of those scriptures. They can stick to them if they feel like life has been difficult, maybe. They can ask us to have a certain behavior, pray, meditate maybe, and trust in certain energies. And there could be something about, I feel like confidence here, because this one doesn't feel solid. Like they don't feel safe perhaps here. So from being someone like this to becoming a Hierophant is bit of a, it's quite a step. It's a big step to become confident, to stand as a Hierophant here and preach something, or say something, or so there's definitely a transformation of maybe confidence here, from coming from a place of maybe feeling insignificant, but that's the interesting thing with the Hierophant category, because this is more of a religious, spiritual healer, practitioner. I want to say maybe alternative healing, Reiki. It could be something like what is that? Or acupuncture. All these more what is maybe considered alternative, but still practiced. Like it's still. I know midwives have accepted acupuncture as a way of helping the women that are giving birth, right? So, it could be a practice that you are using inside an established kind of institution, like the church, right? The church reinforces marriage. It's that the Hierophant usually operates inside some kind of accepted institution, whatever it is. You could be a doctor, right? That could be your profession here, a doctor, a very good one. But the Hierophant takes it to a different level. It's something like being a doctor, but also practicing healing arts, like Reiki. So now you're mixing something from the more established world with something else. That would be what the Hierophant could be doing here. But you see, from coming from a place where you feel like, but I'm not sure I have what it takes here. Or what if the world doesn't want it, right? Maybe I have something to offer, but maybe the world doesn't want it. Like maybe society doesn't want it. Maybe it has been an art form here that has been not accepted inside the institution or inside maybe matrix, right? But it has been a cold winter. Like it has not been, there has not been applause here. So it couldn't, it couldn't establish roots. It couldn't have recognition. It couldn't, or it didn't have recognition. It wasn't considered as that important. It was a bit out in the cold here. But evolution is now changing something. Your evolution, or even the evolution of Earth. We are in a process. Well, that is a common theme around astrologers and New Age people, that we are entering into this new age. The age of Aquarius is here, and there is a shift going on Earth. That shift from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, that is kind of the theme. And this shift is inviting in changes here. It invites in changes, and we all feel it. Like we feel something is happening. We get to understand that the way we have lived our lives is maybe not the only way to live our lives. Something that may have been totally seen as a not accepted is suddenly finding more, footing. There's a movement, you could say, a feminine movement that we all feel that is coming. It's asking us to embrace something, understand something about ourselves, and even engage in, different kinds of jobs, different kinds of, or take, extra in, that you are not just like there could be an embracing of, for instance, I've said sometimes on my channel that when Mercury is retrograding, I'm telling people that you can believe what you want, but if you are interested in astrology, Mercury retrograde would be a time where there's usually reflection, there's usually going back in time. We think about different old stuff, and we could meet people from the past. And that I usually also say to people that maybe you shouldn't make big investments right now. You shouldn't buy a house or a new expensive car or something. Wait until the Mercury is direct again. And of course you can do whatever you want. But you see, it could be something like implementing different knowledge in your everyday life. It could be something about the way you conduct your normal business here, that now you are consulting with a healer, or you are consulting with a clairvoyant about maybe some business deals, or so allowing something that has been not regarded as worthy of attention, that we are allowing it to have attention. We are allowing it to be part of our decision making, perhaps, part of our life. That, oh yeah, I remember something here. I remember something, or I'm interested, I feel an urge to talk to this person. I want to know more, I want to know more about this. I want to know more about whatever. She could be an astrologer, this one. A numerologist, astrologer, anyone who works in a field where, and this can be used alongside another job in the matrix or in the institution, right? It's like embracing a bit something more that can be helpful, or it may not have been considered useful at some point. But evolution is now driving this to an end. It's rebirthing itself here, and something that may have been considered not worthy or a bit useless is now maybe actually becoming a trend here. It becomes more normal. It's something that is now a maybe a desired thing. This could be seen as an advisor, a clairvoyant advisor, a seer, someone who may have the ability to see something beyond normal comprehension. There could be a feeling of, I want to become someone who is definitely grounded in the work field, perhaps, but I'm adding more knowledge, or I expand myself from this version of myself into this one. This is where I do my everyday job. I may be quite good at it. Here I have expanded and I'm allowing something else to come in and guide me here. My intuition, my maybe, as I said, this is a feeling of reconnecting with something that, oh yeah, this has been a while. It's been a while since you were here, or since I did this. it's been a while since I took out my tarot cards, you know, or it may be something you did as a child, you know. Some children, when they are young, they do automatic writing, like they're not aware they are doing that. Like they are sitting and drawing something, you know, and they just sit in there, you know, a bit. It's a bit of a transcendent state. They just sit there and draw, and then suddenly they start writing something. And then they look down after a period of time and is wondering, what is this? Like, what is that? Maybe this has to do with sounds. Certain songs, again, movement here. Movement, sound, vibration. It's asking something of you that you normally don't do in your business, perhaps here, that it's asking something like swing with the trees, or as the book said before, something about if something comes in that looks like an obstacle, just flow with it. Let us see where it takes us. What is it asking? How do you feel? Do you become frightened when this comes in? Do you feel like you could lose your money or your stability or your safety or something? Go along with the feelings that come and let it pass through you. And if you have an emotional reaction to it, like you cramp up or something, allow yourself to let that be dissolved in some way. Allow yourself to understand why and what is it telling you, and let it pass through your body, right? Let it just move with it. But this guy usually tells me that sometimes we are not very good at this. Like we could cramp up, you know, and have this feeling, what's this? What's this now? What's this now? Why is something always coming, right? Why can't I not just have a smooth sailing, you know? But I think there's maybe something you've done or did as a child, but you know it didn't receive much applause. Like it didn't seem much, or it didn't get much applause here. But now there is an evolution going on, and you may feel it too, that this can be rebirthed into a positive outcome. Sometimes this is, you know, the worst trauma you've had, that if you can somehow transmute it and rebirth yourself, you can take that trauma and actually work as a therapist, you know, a therapist for others. Or, you know, if this was a time where, let's say you were an alcoholic here, and it took you like to the rock bottom of your life. You lost all your money, you were very unsafe, something in you led to an evolution. It led you to like maybe the worst fears of your life, right? And from that standpoint, you maybe you seeked help, you know, and that was maybe the very single thing that has started out this process for you. Someone who overcomes their alcohol problem can transmute this into becoming a mentor or a helper in the AA programs. And now is, you know, the AA is an organization that is, like Anonymous Alcoholics is an organization that is fairly established as a rehab helping program. And, you know, you could become part of that, right? You could become someone who is, because you have in-depth knowledge of this addiction, and also some of the woundings that may cause a person to start drinking in the first place. So there are some very, very distinct knowledge here that can be helpful for others who may actually deal with the same problem. So again, this could be, you could have been a counselor, working as a counselor here, but now you're adding a specific extra touch to it because of what you may have experienced and what have helped you. And that's what this usually talks about, a positive outcome from something that seemed like a winter, right? Like from being in the winter, experiencing something tough, very difficult, that you take that and transmute it. Like from feeling fear that come from some subconscious insecurity or traumas, you can release that and transmute it, and then you will have a healing, which this card talks about, right? So from feeling fearful and not feeling you have what it takes, right? That winter's end, you can transmute that into something else. And that experience and what may have helped you along the way can help others. And this is where you may become an alternative healer in some way, or an advisor of some kind. Because this is not something it's not an education you can take. This is a life lesson. This is a life experience. This is what life teaches you. And this is not something you can take an education about. So you have maybe specific knowledge here that can be, like you could become a sense of a teacher here for people, or a mentor or something for people who are in a bit of the same position, or they are still in the winter here. They still feel very unsafe here. But then you could come in and tell them that there is an end of the tunnel. There is a way out. There are things to there is a way out of the tunnel. And you could be a guide alongside them, right? A healer or a guide or a mentor or an advisor alongside them here. Like maybe you have been that all along, like maybe you've always been that, but now you're adding something else here to the midst of it. And I get the feeling of like it's whatever is happening here, because it was in the center of the reading, so this could be what you're feeling right now, that maybe you are asked to dance, maybe you are asked to move, maybe you are asked to go outside and stand in the rain and barefoot and just feel the rain on your body, that you can't stay indoor. That you have to get out there, feel the wind, feel this, like the sun on your skin, hear the birds sing, and the hissing of like wind through the corn or the grass or something. There's something about maybe watching movement, also watching how the wind can wave through corn, in the field. Maybe watching something, watching watching the waves by the ocean, right? Feel it, feel the sound of the waves when they roll into the shore, right? What sound it is, this right, this hissing sound or some, there is something to be found there, something to be understood. It's like you connect with something else. But it's about the allowing, right? It's about believing that this is something useful, that it's actually something that I can use for something, not just math and strategic planning, that there's something else here that actually it provides something, it gives something, it tells you something, it's communicating with you. And there could be this feeling of, yeah, okay, this has been a while. Maybe the Hierophant here is a spirit guide that wants to communicate with you. Like maybe this is like a guide or something that is right beside you, and the way they communicate is through these other ways of communicating. Can we have a card on the Hierophant, please? Okay, so I get Archangel Samuel here. And it is the purple color which talks about crown chakra, and this is like a download, like an epiphany, a download. It's from the spiritual realm here. It's intuition, and it talks about perspective. It says that you can have a different perspective if you let your intuition in, your clairvoyance, it says here there is a better way. Pause for reflection and insight, and dare to be different. Again, look, he's upside down here, so he is allowing himself to see things from a totally different perspective. He's allowing himself to try to. Now I get something like again, perspective can be, well, your own perspective, of course. You see from your own point of view, like that's your glasses here, right? You wear these glasses here. Can you see them? That's your glasses, right? But then there could be from another person's perspective. So like maybe it's something about, you could, like if you share some of your things here with someone, if you share it with someone, you can get a different perspective of the matter, the situation, of what this hissing is, or this like this sense of movement. Perhaps if you did feel fear and you were wondering what this is, it could be a good thing to maybe ask someone here to elaborate on what this is for you. Maybe someone who is spiritual. Like if, let's say you go to your doctor and they can't tell you what this is. That was the case for me. I had these different symptoms in my body. That was, I wouldn't say it was, but yeah, actually it did take over. Like I couldn't work anymore. and still can't work only few hours. So it's my sensory system, my nervous system. Like it gets too cramped up. It gets too loud for me. But you see, if something like that is happening in your body, it can be difficult to understand it, to figure out what is this. And you can go to the doctor and they can, well, they write down your symptoms and they check you out in the way they can do. Like they check you out with instruments and your blood pressure, and they can take all kind of blood samples and nothing, it shows nothing. That's how it was in my case. I may have delivered 50 blood samples, right? And they couldn't find anything. There's nothing wrong with me. But why did I feel like that then, right? Why were my senses so out of tune? Why did I have ringing in the ears? Why was I so fatigued and so on, right? But maybe someone like this can tell you more, or at least can tell you something else than the other doctors can tell you, right? Maybe they can do that. Maybe they can provide some kind of message, even a sense of release. Maybe it would be a release or a relief to hear them tell you, oh, but it's a Kundalini awakening. So you will have different energies working through your body. I can help you with this. I can teach you, or I can even dim it a bit down for you if you feel like it's too much, and so on. They work with energies. This could be an energy healer here, right? But you know, that is maybe not something that we normally do. We go to the doctor. So seeking out alternative treatment is something that is sometimes only done when the normal medical system and industry can't help us. Then we seek the healers. Then we seek plant medicine. Then we seek things like that. It's only when we can't get the answers from the normal system that we do something else. So this could be a herbalist, right, who also works as a doctor, for instance, right? But now they add something else here to their profession. And that could be what is stirring here, that something is stirring. Oh yeah, I remember this as a child. I was actually quite interested in the plants. I knew there was something healing about them, right? But then I went to school and we were told to focus on all other kinds of stuff. But actually, when I remember as a child, I was actually quite interested in, things like that. If that was the case for you. Maybe, like as I said, this could be a guide. And maybe a guide you haven't spoken, like maybe you can see them. I don't know. Maybe you can see this one. And they can be a spiritual guide, right? But the life that most people live in the matrix, it takes us through certain kinds of educations, and sometimes, like, children are quite open. They can perceive something like this, for instance. Some can. But then we are introduced to this life we are supposed to have. And sometimes this closes down. We forget about it, or suddenly it isn't there anymore. And it's like the door has closed, and you are not, you can't hear them, you can't speak to them, you can't see them. But this could be a feeling that something is stirring, where you feel like, oh, I remember this. I remember something about this. And maybe it's not, as I said, a nice welcome, you know, maybe you, because it has this to it, like it has this remembrance that before I had this experience, like I had this was the experience here. It was winter time. It was not accepted. It was regarded as useless. It was not something I was supposed to focus on. Maybe some people didn't even believe in it, you know? But it's stirring here. Something is stirring. And if you have Earth strongly in your chart here, I want to say it could definitely be an internal process. And if not, I want to say you're probably dealing with someone who could like well, they could be going through a process, or you are watching them. You're watching someone go through a process. It says here perspective, right? And it's true. Like, I believe that many normal human beings who are raised and are participating in the matrix society, they go to the doctor first, and only if the doctor can't tell you what's wrong. They can't even suggest a treatment plan. They're actually literally just telling you to go home and rest. Then you may need another perspective. A perspective that is maybe normally not something, it's not the first choice. It's not the first thing we do. We go to the doctor. And that's also what we have been told to do. Like, if something is wrong, go to the doctor, right? But here you may find that this is not something the doctor can explain. You may find that this is something, maybe you had to figure some of this out yourself, or that if you consult with some kind of helper here, like they may be able to help you. This can also talk about that you're realizing that you have some abilities to help, that you are this hierophant. And maybe this becomes more and more your awareness, like this is more and more you. So it may be challenging whatever ordinary life you may have, like or whatever ordinary job you may have, because this can feel, you know, secure. It can feel safe. It can be, but it's maybe also boring. Maybe it doesn't feel like it. As I said, the intensity or the spark, the spice of life is missing there. Maybe you are doing this job primarily out of safety and normal life routine, and not so much because it actually inspires you. You took this education because it was safe, perhaps. You got this job because it was a safe choice. But, you know, it lacks this spice, it lacks this life thrill, or it lacks intensity. It lacks something. So again, it's a matter of perspective. Of course, you could stay and do your normal job here. But you could also change your life around and do something else. It's a matter of perspective whether you want something that feels like a good providing job, or something that is a life goal, a life mission, a soul mission even. This could feel maybe more like a soul mission, and this could feel like a human job, this is the normal human choice to do. This feels more like a life, like a soul calling. But it's a matter of perspective again. What do you choose, or what feels most vibrant to you? What makes you feel more alive? What makes you feel more invested also? If it's a soul calling, if it's a soul goal or mission here, I think you cannot deny it. It also says here, there's a better way. Pause for reflection and insight, and dare to be different. And I think that's what you're called to do, and that's what this movement is asking of you. It's asking you to connect to your soul, right? It's asking, it's asking you to, through the heart center, to connect with the soul. And the soul is bigger than the frame. It's a bigger purpose than what the current frame offers. That would also be a greater sense of satisfaction with a soul purpose than you could say a matrix purpose. It becomes bigger. It has more value to you personally. And it connects with your core, the soul in you. It connects with your heart and everything where you feel guided here. You feel guided by something else than what you have learned in school and what society dictates and what your parents told you, and which is very much human conditioning. This is something else. This is something else that it moves you. It's molding you and moving you because it calls for something else. It calls something else forward in you, right? Out of you, you could say. And it is feminine. That's the access point. It's through the heart gate that you have access to your soul purpose, to your soul voice. It will come through a sense of feminine understanding. It's through your psychic gifts. It's through your intuition, your downloads, your telepathy, your empathy, your all these feminine traits that you get in tune with what this is for you. So if you feel like you've had something stirring in your body, you find yourself getting out of bed at night and you just have to move your body, like you have to move from side to side or something. This can be it. Like that could be the reason for this. Can I have another card on the night wind, please, here? So I get Sappho, the poetess. I love every inch of my body, and I love the woman in my life fiercely. So poetess, I feel like this could be about music, songs. Maybe that's the movement, the dancing, the singing, the I don't know. I saw it like she had a drum here. No, it's a harp, I think. A harp, a little harp here. There could be something about, lyrics, rhyming. Again, poetry. Poetry could be a thing. As I said, the automatic writing, maybe you are into rhymes, lyrics, things like that, but it has a, it could be that you are singing tunes here, or you're even singing words, but it's not a language you understand. Right? That could be light language for some people if you resonate with that. It could be the sense of just singing something, speaking, talking certain words, rhyming something, even connecting it with tunes, something like that. Maybe you feel like you are asked to get up at night, and suddenly you have a rhyme in your head. You must write it down. Eventually, it becomes a song. Eventually, it becomes you make poetry, perhaps, or maybe you are a writer, or you can write lyrics, song lyrics. But even if it's not like that, even if it's tunes, you just feel you have to move your body. You may feel you need to sing something or hum something, maybe. That could be it as well. Like because Kundalini moves the body. It asks us to move something. So you could have that feeling, something like that. Something similar like that. But it could be, again, something about perspective, like don't criticize it. Just let it just come. Let it just let it out. Let it just move through you. If you feel like you have to write it down, do that. Just let it pass. Let it be said, or let yourself sing it or something. Like feminine energy, you can't necessarily find logic in it. Like not in the sense that we are used to look for logic. Like we are raised in a very masculine environment, a very masculine dominated world. It's created by men for men. But you see, what is happening here, this is feminine. Like this, it doesn't have this end result. Again, you may get small words or tunes, and you may not see that this is going to amount to anything. Like, what am I supposed to do with two notes? Ee-ha, or something like that. What am I supposed to do with e? And you don't get anything more than that. Just maybe write it down and then just forget about it. And then maybe later at some point you get something else. You get more. Or again, feminine energy, I feel like it can seem a bit like a puzzle. Like you get something here and something there, and it doesn't have a straight line to it. It doesn't have structure. There is no plan. It's very inorganized. Very it switches and turns, and it molds, and it doesn't have a straight line. So the way something like this can present may seem like it's useless. Like what am I supposed to do with that? Just sing it, or write it down, or remember the tunes, and then maybe later you get a little more. And then I feel like for me it has been one giant puzzle piece, and I've been giving a little bit of pieces. but they didn't fit together. So you have this puzzle piece, and then I got one piece here and one up here. But then I get one here, and then eventually one here, and then maybe one here, and then one here. And then at some point it's like I build more and more, and then eventually it's like, oh, now these are touching. Now I see something, right? Now this over here makes sense with this over here, and this and this and this. But it comes in like maybe like a bit of a messy pool, you could say. And it takes a while until this puzzle piece actually is put together. I know in my case, I have had healers help me, and one particular who was helping me with soul retrieval, which can be like these puzzle pieces that come back. But this is something I can't really do that on my own, not really. So it's helpful to have someone who comes in and help me with that, and maybe help me to see what's happening in my life in some way, or helping me with maybe also calming down that, because we are so used to and programmed to see logic. We're so used to that when something messy happens in our life, like I was very confused by this. I've been in a process for 7 years with this. This has been very confusing. In the beginning, I tried to make sense of it. I really tried to put things together. I just couldn't. It didn't make sense. I couldn't find any reasoning, logic to it. It felt like one big, messy, blindfolded, organic mass that was just constantly shifting around. But that's feminine energy. It's exactly like that. It doesn't necessarily make sense in the beginning. It takes a while for it to, like, it always shifts and molds and like and it goes through many different kinds of emotions also. It's not linear. It doesn't follow a 12-step program. It's not like that. But this is something that we may need to get a better understanding of. That sometimes messy isn't bad. It's just messy. And be patient with that. It's a bit like a child, right? When you get a newborn, they are not an adult. They can't do the same. They can't speak. They don't think the way. We have to allow something to, like, do its thing. And having children can be a messy thing. Like, they run around, they leave things behind, they don't tidy up. They have potty training, they have all kinds of stuff where they are messy, like they are not complete, or they are not done. They are in this molding phase where everything becomes, and they can be all over the place. Maybe you feel like there is a phase where everything is all over the place for you. Maybe it's an inner excitement that you just feel inspired to do so many things. And it feels a bit messy what you are supposed to choose, But I feel like it comes to an end. Like, this is something it has been there in the past. It has been helping you to move towards this, right? So I see you actually more standing now with like a totally different knowledge. You have managed to change fear into some kind of healing here. You have passed through a portal here, maybe with or alongside with your ego here, transmuting something, and maybe changed entirely perspective about your entire life, what you're supposed to do here, who you are or what you are, and what would excite you here. Like, what is your new goal here? What is your new soul excitement? You know, what are you supposed to do, or what would you like to do here? And I think it has to do with something spiritual here. Something about maybe you want to change people's perspective about something, or help them have a new perspective about their lives. You know, this can be anything. Let's say if you have gone through, you have had a very active life, and then suddenly you have gone through some kind of maybe a car crash. And from that point, your life changed. Let's say you lost your ability to walk. Maybe you ended up in a wheelchair. And, you know, it threw you into winter. All your dreams, all your, like everything you've desired, all the active sport and all this stuff that you have done before, that it just kind of, it feels like your life ended. Maybe it threw you into depression, you know. Maybe you started drinking, you know, all kinds of stuff, because we feel sorry for ourselves. It's like our life is ending. It's something has been taken from us. But then it's like turning some of this into a strength. Like what you experienced and what it took you through, what you, like the downfall or the rock bottom I talked about earlier, how it threw you to the ground, and then how you had to build yourself up from that point. That is how you now become the Hierophant here. Because you are helping people maybe in the exact same position as you were in, to see life differently, to have perspective, have different perspective about the life that they are now having, or about what they could have if they decided to change their perspective here. That because your life gets turned upside down, it doesn't mean that it's over necessarily, or that there is no purpose anymore, or there is no fun anymore, or life anymore, you know. That from a place of trauma you can like build strength and become a different person with a different life, a different message, and a different perspective. And that's what I feel like. It's like you could, like turning something where you feel very, very insecure in life, very unsafe maybe. You know, how am I supposed to support myself? How am I supposed to, you know, things like that. And then turning it into, well, a job, I think, or some kind of occupation or some kind of work here. And it has purpose and it has value, because it you have transmuted or changed yourself out of a difficult situation into something else. And this is something others can learn from, or maybe you can help others from that point. But it may not be something that, like when we sit at winter's end and we hit rock bottom, we don't feel, that we have what it takes. We don't think we can make it. We are maybe feeling very unsafe in life. And then it's like something within you can literally cause like a change in you. That eventually you can't sit in that position anymore. From inside, something else can awaken. From inside, something else can start tinkling here. And it may feel uncomfortable, but it's actually a help, I think. Because the cards are like this, it could be that you're literally, maybe from one day to another, you may be literally like it clicks in. Like from one day to another, it's like it clicks in. That you're realizing how much you've grown here. That the one you were here, you can't even remember who that was. You look back and maybe, you remember. Maybe you remember that you felt like that, but that's not how you feel today. So you may see how much you've grown. You may see how much you've changed. You may see how much you've maybe healed your heart here with the pink color. Maybe you realize how much more relaxed you are. How much more grounded you are. And we could even talk about worthiness or confidence here, that even if we talk about someone sitting in a wheelchair here, they come across as a King of Pentacles, meaning they are confident. They do have what it takes. They do have something to offer. They are skilled or learned. They have street wisdom, They have something. They have wisdom that you can learn from a book. And maybe you're realizing that, but I have something where I can help people change their perspective if they are in a very, like low vibrational state. They could be depressed here and alone and lonely and, things like that. And I am actually in a position where I could help. I do have something to offer. I do have something to offer the world, but at some point you may have thought you didn't, that you were useless, or whatever you had here. It was something that nobody listened, or they didn't care about it. It was useless in that sense. Yeah, this is what I have, Aries. I hope this helps somehow. Take care of yourself and just rest and trust that whatever you have here is something. It's beautiful. Like I get this feeling of movement and how she's dancing here. It could be that you decide to become someone who works with healing, but through the body. Like that the body has to express itself, right? That we cannot, because this could be someone who is very good at like talk counseling, But what you are now adding here with the Hierophant and what you have experienced yourself here is something like, I'm adding movement to my therapy because I know what it does. I know that it can help, right? I know that it can help express feelings. Some people use breath work as a therapy form to release emotions, trapped emotions, right? And this could be what this is, allowing movement. There's something called dance therapy also. Dance therapy that also can remove trapped emotions or help release it. Something that we can't access with talk therapy because it's immobile. You sit still and talk. It only refers to your brain, you could say, where some of the trapped emotions, they sit in the body. They sit sometimes in the lower chakras, and one of the ways to access them is by moving your body. So that this is what I feel like could be here for Aries, something like that. Yeah, as always, I send you my very best, Aries, and take care of yourself, and don't panic if you feel like something like this is happening in your life. Just flow with it. So, yeah, love and light to you all. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.